Hi, it's Elena of Financialdemics, and it could be kind of difficult to really track your spending and really understand where you're spending your money, especially when you are taking out cash or you're just really swiping here and there and really figuring out where your money is going. Part of the way to do that, regardless of whether you're using your debit card or cash, is to track your spending. So I'm going to give you some examples of ways that you can track your spending and really get a handle on how you're spending your money so that you'll have some clarity, but also so that you can make sure that you're using that money for what you really want to use it on and not just other random things that you sometimes buy. So the first thing I always tell everyone before they just start tracking their spending is to look back and see what you were doing previously, because sometimes we have a sense of how we spend and we adjust how we spend when we're being conscious of it. But truthfully, you need to see what is your natural intuition when it comes to spending. And yes, there is a natural intuition. There are some people who are not spenders and they do not spend a lot of money. But when they do spend, they may spend a little bit more money because it's something that they really want, something that they thought about, and they were intentional about purchasing. And then there are people like me who are naturally spenders, and we will buy things that we didn't need and we didn't want until we saw it. And so that's something that I have been always very honest about who I am, and so I have learned how to work with it and learn how to control it in a way. And so I'm always trying to give tips to others so that they are not making some of the mistakes that I have made in the past. The first thing I really want you to do is look back and see how you were spending for the last 3 months. And the reason why I really like 3 is because it's interesting. If you've ever gone back to see how you have spent, like the first month, you may be like just normal, regular spending. Like, not that you're spending on extra things, you just might just be buying groceries. You are, buying what you need. There may be a want here or there, but they're low and everything is all good. The next month, you don't know what happened. The next month, you were spending money all over the place. Nothing special was going on. You was just spending, right? And who knows what was happening, right? Because we all have different reasons why we spend, but you were just spending money and you're like, what the heck happened there? And then the following month, because you're already like, I done spent too much money, you may spend less than you did in that second month, but more than you spent in that first month. And so it's just good to look back 3 months to really see how you're spending, what you're spending on, and also it's going to tell you about your spending patterns also. So it's not bad that we're tracking our spending and looking back to see what we're doing. It really gives you an idea of how you spend your money. Now, when you're looking back to see how you spent your money, another thing I want you to really pay attention to is how much cash you actually withdrew from your bank account. Because depending on the person, right? I'm a person, I typically hold on to receipts. I now consciously get rid of the receipts after I see things hit. But I'm really big on holding on to receipts. So you may not know what you spent your cash on. Some may have receipts to say, oh, I spent it on this, this, and this. Some may have just thrown their receipts away, not even kept up with it. With all the cash you withdrew, are you able to track how you spent that money? Do you have an idea of how you spent that money? If you don't, then that's part of the reason why we want to start tracking your spending, because you want to get an idea of where your money actually goes, because it just really helps you to create a realistic budget, but also gives you clarity on truly who you are as a person when it comes to spending your money. Now that you've looked at what you did for the past 3 months, I want you to really look at those numbers and figure out, are you overspending? And if you're overspending, are you overspending due to certain occasions happening, birthdays, maybe a kid growth spurt, things like that. I also want you to determine if you are living paycheck to paycheck. And you know what that is. I don't think I have to explain it. Like, do you have a savings? Do you have money set aside to cover anything unexpected? If you stop working today, how long would you survive without income? And then now we're going to actually start tracking your spending. You're tracking your spending because, first of all, you're now conscious of how you've spent, because we've looked back to see what was going on. But now you're tracking to see, where do I spend my money at? Does it align with my financial goals and my budget? Are there certain things that come up during a certain type of year that I need to already have the money for? Because, you know, we normally use Christmas as an example, right? Because it's like Christmas is the same time every year, yet a lot of people do not prepare for it. And so, do I actually have the funds to be able to start saving for that, or any other type of planned expense that is coming up? You're really tracking to determine how you really spend your bills. So once you have tracked your funds, and I do think that you should track it for a full month. I am big on paycheck budgeting, so you'll track till that next paycheck, then you'll track again to the next paycheck to really see what is happening. And this is if you get paid bi-weekly. If you get paid monthly, then go ahead. If you get paid semi-monthly, same thing. And if you get paid weekly, then you're going to track for each check throughout the month. But you want to see, how are you spending your money? When are you spending more during the month? When are you not? What you're spending on. So after you've listed all your expenses, and look, you can track your expenses different ways. You could track it on paper in a little notebook. You could track it in an Excel or a Google app on your phone. You can use Mint, which is really good. You could attach your bank account to it. It will pull it. You will have to go through and make sure the categories are correct, but it will pull what you're spending and tell you kind of where you're falling. But you can track to figure out what you're spending your money on. And at the end of the pay period or the month, you're basically going to look at it and see, okay, how much did I spend on bills? How much did I spend on debt? How much did I spend on my financial goals? How much did I spend on my lifestyle? And any other additional category. I think another big category for me that I always keep separate is groceries, because I already told y'all before, if you're new here, I struggle with groceries. That's just something I've always struggled with, and trying to make sure that we stay on track with groceries. You want to track and see where you're falling, and then from there, that'll help you create a budget that is realistic for your lifestyle. It'll also help you realize if you're not spending according to what you want for your life. Because, you know, sometimes we have these ideas that, you know, we want our life to be a certain way, but we're not spending according to that way or to reach those goals. We're spending on random stuff. Like, you're picking up stuff from places. I've mentioned before, at one point I realized I was doing too much at the Target dollar spot. I do too much in Target anyway, but that dollar spot was making it even worse. So, you know, something now that I do, I don't always go to the Target dollar spot. So that's something that I kind of try to avoid, and I don't always stop over there, because I know I don't need to be spending no money over there. Now, granted, I gotta stop stopping at other sections of Target too, but we're working at one at a time. So tracking your spending can really help you get closer to reaching those financial goals that you really want to achieve for yourself. And that habit will help you adjust when necessary, and also not set yourself up for failure, because sometimes we have a certain thought process that we're going to fall into this certain category, right? You know, like people, sometimes when I talk to clients or just people in general about budgeting, like they don't like budgeting because it's like they feel restricted, or they feel like, you know, it's going to control them, or somebody else is controlling them with a budget. But really, if your budget is set up for your goals and set up accurately for what you want to achieve, then it shouldn't feel restrictive. It should give you some type of freedom to know that you can do certain things because you did accommodate for them. So tracking your spending is going to help give you more clarity on that. It's going to help you realize that you do have some money available for some of the things you want to do, but maybe you are spending too much money on certain things that you really don't care too much about, and you're just doing it just to be doing it. I hope this was helpful for you. I really wanted to talk about tracking your spending and how it's really going to benefit you and help you get closer to your financial goal, and really all the steps that you need to do to help make it an easier process for you. If this was helpful, definitely give it a thumbs up. If you have questions about it, definitely drop them in the comments below. Let me know how you do with your spending. Do you track your spending at all? Do you really evaluate where your money goes, and if it is helping you get closer to your financial goals? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button because I know you're still watching, and I'll see you next time with a new video.